Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to my Christopher Nolan review series. Oppenheimer is just 1 week away. Well, actually, it comes out this week now that I think about it. And here are my thoughts on The Prestige. Prestige has never really been a movie that I've ever heard of, and I never really heard anybody talking about it. So I didn't know what this movie was gonna be. I didn't know what to expect from this movie. I was really worried about this one because I just never heard anyone talking about it. I thought maybe I didn't hear anyone talking about it because it wasn't a very good movie, but I could gladly say this is probably one of the most underrated movies I have ever watched. Some of my positives on The Prestige is the set design and the costume design, where this movie takes place in the early 1890s of England or London, whatever the hell they say in it. I'm pretty sure they say London, but I felt they did a really good job of showing off the set pieces and kind of like showing off what like old 1890s London would have looked like. I felt they did a really good job there, like just like the way like the horses and stuff, like how that's what people get around and all that. Especially like the costume designs, like how they got people to dress and like how women would wear like those weird flowers and feathers on top of their fancy ass hats, and then how people would like walk around with canes and all that. To me, they did a really good job of showing off the 1890s, where from costume design and set design, hell, even dialogue they did really good. Like, I don't know if maybe that how Christopher Nolan just wrote the script to be like that, but whoever wrote the script for the dialogue to be this good, they probably got an A plus in history. But I felt that the down to the dialogue, costume design, and hell, just the world building of this movie, they did a damn good job of just showing off all of all of just 1890s of London. What's positive is the cast of this movie. I really enjoy this cast. You got Kristen Bale, you got Hugh Jackman, you got Scarlett Johansson, you got Michael Caine, and you got Rebecca something, I forget her last name. This is a very stacked cast, and I think to me the standout of this movie is easily Michael Caine, in my opinion. A lot of people that I've watched reviews on said that this is one of Kristen Bale's best performances, which I would not argue with you. But to me, Michael Caine had more to do in this movie, but yet he was kind of a side character. Michael Caine really like showed off like his acting talents in here. Yeah, sure, he's a great Alfred in this franchise, but to me, he just did a great job in here, and I still need to watch Inception. But to me, this is by far Michael Caine's best performance from what I've seen from him. But yet again, he's always great with Christopher Nolan. Hell, even Hugh Jackman. Who would have thought that we would have seen no, Wonder Woman, Wolverine, Batman, Alfred, and Black Widow in just one movie? Where you got Hugh Jackman, who's great in this role, but he's always great when he's acting. Kristen Bale, like I already said, he's always great as an actor, and I would not argue with you if you said that this was his best performance because he is really good in here. I already talked about Michael Caine. He's absolutely fantastic in this movie. And then you got Scarlett Johansson. I haven't seen much of her films except besides from the MCU. But to me, her performance in here as a love interest, I felt she did pretty good as like the music, like the magic, like the assistant in this movie. I felt that she did really good in this movie, which I was really surprised about because I didn't think how well she would really do in this movie. But to me, just the entire cast throughout this entire movie did their part, and they just acted A plus basically. I would not say one negative around any actor. Hell, you even got Andy Serkis in here, who everyone knows as Gollum from the Lord of the Rings. He doesn't have a much of a role in here, but he does really good in here. And then you got what's that guy's name? That's a musician. I forget his name. Like the great David Bowie, which I forgot his name for a sec. David Bowie, he doesn't do much acting talents, but a lot of people, from what I've heard of him, he's a great actor, and this was the first movie that I actually saw him do acting talents. I really like his music. I've really enjoyed it. But a lot of people are out to bring up a different movie that he's in that I don't remember. But I feel I would always remember him in this. Like Andy Serkis, he doesn't have a huge role in this movie, but what he does have to do, he does a great job. I feel that his character, it's, I don't know if it was the writing, but I didn't think his character is very interesting. But David Bowie in this movie was also great. Every actor and actress in this movie did their part, and they did a damn good job. I really like the story of this movie, where you get two musicians. Yeah, musicians, where you get Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, who are both musicians, and then they just battle it out. Who's the better musician? Where is Hugh Jackman or is it Kristen Bale? Where throughout this entire movie they're butting heads and they're trying to figure out where they're trying to learn each other's tricks. They're trying to outdo their performance. They're trying to outdo them, outdo the person. Every out through this entire movie, this whole movie is Kristen Bale and Hugh Jackman butting heads, trying to figure out who's the better magician. I love that story where they also have like this little where they at first they kind of sound like they have like a little friendship going, but then they quickly turn enemies. Where Michael Caine's character says like go up to this Chinese guy and learn how he does this fishbowl trick, and then they kind of work together trying to figure it out. But then when figures it out, they try to get to him so they can perform on stage. Then when Hugh Jackman gets the spotlight, then Christian Bale's character Alfred, I believe his name was, where they're just they're just going at it, and then like one of them crashes their party basically, and then everybody goes and checks them out. Like Christian Bale trying to do like this gun trick where he catches the bullet, but Hugh Jackman messes it all up and shoots off his fingers and all that. I really love this story, and I really love where Christopher Nolan really takes it. And like, I actually looked this up because I didn't know that this was part of the book. But that finger trick, like that gun trick, apparently was in the book, but it had nothing to do about him shooting off his fingers, which I really thought was interesting. I really enjoy this story for where it takes it, and it's a interesting story, and I feel that's what I would rewatch this movie for, is because of its great story. How this movie also like really explores like the world of magic for someone who doesn't believe in magic. Yes, I don't believe in magic. Fight me. But where this whole movie is just them exploring it, how to do all these tricks to where just to appeal to the audience, like, hey, look at this awesome trick that I can do, like simply going through like a door trick where he's on this side of the room and then he's all the way on this side of the room and all that, where he just goes through like a trap door and then like a twin of him shows up and all that. It's really interesting to show like how they actually do all these magic tricks. Yes, if you believe in magic, you must be smoking crack. I'm sorry, you probably are. But for someone who doesn't believe in magic, and this really explores it and it shows all the things about magic, I really enjoy that. It's one of the highlights about this movie, and it really like and when I found out that this movie really was about magic, I groaned at the fact about that. Like, really, a movie about magic? Mm. But it pulled off. I really enjoyed what they showed about it. They really showed off different things and really violent things about the movie too, like a simple birdcage scene where they show like a trick where they could close the thing and then like the bird will show up and all that without harming it. And then Christian Bale, since he got his fingers shot off, he gets his revenge on Hugh Jackman's character when he asks for a volunteer to do this bird trick scene, and then he puts his fingers on. He like you could tell it's him by the second he puts his fingers on top of it, where Hugh Jackman's character has to hold it, and then the assistant has to hold it, and then this one girl has to hold it, then he has to hold it, and then Christian Bale puts his hand on top of the scene, and he just looks at him. He has like this weird grin on his face, like, and then you don't know what's gonna happen, and then he just like pulls it open and kills the bird. Like, like that scene alone was like, holy shit! Like these two will do anything for magic. I really loved what they did with these scenes, especially the magic scenes. They did an all great job in this. Wanted to talk about like the theme of this movie about sacrifice and obsession, where the two characters that we're following throughout this movie is where Christian Bale's character is about obsession, I believe. Wait, yeah, sacrifice. Sorry, sacrifice. And Hugh Jackman's character is about obsession. You don't get the sacrifice thing about Christian Bale to the closing moments of the movie, which I will talk about, where you get this scene where Hugh Jackman's character, he is like his theme about this movie is obsession. He will not stop until he thinks he has outdone himself, and he is like made everybody happy outside and outdo Christian Bale's performance, and he will do anything to outdo him. And then Christian Bale's character, again, I will talk about where he is about sacrifice. He is willing to sacrifice his own wife and his own daughter, or literally push them to his side to to show off the world his magic. He is willing to sacrifice his own wife and daughter to show off his magic, where where you get Hugh Jackman. He's obsessed with his magic. He is obsessed about everything he does. That's why I love the two themes that this movie explores. And in a way, it's like a social commentary where there are people out there that are obsessed and they are willing to do whatever to appease to an audience, and then there's people who will sacrifice to appease to anybody just so they can get a great reaction. In a way, that's a social commentary, but at the same time, it's just a theme that this movie explores. And if you wanted to, you could look at it as a social commentary. And that's what I look at is it's a social commentary today where people will sacrifice and there are people who are obsessed about just getting this one thing right. I love the theme that this movie explores. It doesn't go much into it, but what it does, it's it kind of blows your mind in a way. Like all these side characters, like I said about Michael Caine, like he has most to do with this movie. If anything, I felt he should have been the main character. I felt all these side characters were interesting, like Scarlett Johansson and Rebecca, where they're two like the love interest of the story. I thought they were very interesting. And then you get God, there's something wrong with my nose. And then you get Michael Caine's character. He's very interesting. He to me, he's the best part about this movie. And then you get Andy Serkis and David Bowie's characters, where they're trying to help out Hugh Jackman with like this electrical electrical magic trick and all that, where that's what they're like doing throughout this entire movie. To me, all the side characters in this movie were very interesting and all very likable, and they all had their own part. To me, each side character had their own time to shine and their own thing to do throughout this entire movie, which I really appreciated, which not a lot of movies do today, where they have side characters, but they're pushed to the side just literally to be side characters and let the main characters shine. I'm glad that these side characters had their own time to shine and had their own things to do. I really like that. Yeah, sure, some of them may not be very interesting and kind of forgettable, but almost every side character, I was invested. Where I start to get into spoilers about the movie, so please go watch the movie for yourself so you will not get spoiled. Please just go watch the movie for yourself if I have not already sold you on this movie. Alright, did you do that? Alright, cool. Or maybe I'll put like a little card in the comments somewhere so where you can skip and all that. Now this is where the spoilers begin, where this movie ends where Christian Bale's character, where Hugh Jackman figures out this trick to where he can stand in front of this electrical thing and drop down and then show up on like a top of a balcony, and Christian Bale tries to figure out how he can do that to outdo him, to outsmart him, to be the better magician than him. But then he finds out that he drowns and all that, and then he is framed for murder and he's about to be hung. But when he's in jail, it shows that Hugh Jackman never died, and it was like a replica because this electrical thing can make replicas of him, which is very weird and kind of like okay, weird. And but where this is where it gets very interesting, where huge Christian Bale, you can see he gets hung and he is killed. But when they're about to destroy this thing that made Hugh Jackman like kill his replicas, and then God, what's going on with my nose? And then show up, somebody shoots him, and you think it's Christian Bale's buddy that's been helping him out with these magic tricks. Because when you see him in jail, he bounces him the ball and tells him to keep it. And then you kind of remember that he dies in this movie. He gets buried alive. And then he bounces the ball at Hugh Jackman. And you're like, oh, it's probably his buddy. Then he shoots him, like, oh, okay, he's killing him. Then he comes out of the shadows, and it's revealed that it's Christian Bale's character. Like, you sit there going, you watched him die. But then the box trick, like this thing does, where he goes into a door and then he comes out the other door, like Hugh Jackman tried to outdo, where he drops into the ground, and then like a guy that looks exactly like him shows up and all that. That's where he got the idea, and he reveals that he's had a twin brother, and this is where the sacrifice comes in with Christian Bale's character. He was willing to have his own twin brother hung to death just to give us the best trick in the world. Not a lie, I am not joking. That is how this movie climaxes, and then he reveals everything. He took his own twin brother's hand to get rid of the two exact fingers that he lost when he was trying to perform a magic trick. that's where the sacrifice comes in with Christian Bale's character. I've never been so shocked with an ending of a movie in a long time. Not since Saw, really. But I thought that ending really surprised me. I was really surprised by that, and I'm so glad I didn't get spoiled by that. This is one of the best climax to the story. And then you find out that Michael Caine was part of it too, because where he's upset at Hugh Jackman because he's like, this little girl needs her father, and you're still gonna let him die and all that. And he gave you the trick that you've been looking for, and he's still gonna let him die. To where Michael Caine basically betrays his best friend. He tells Christian Bale, "You can kill him." He let him, and he wasn't a witness. He left. Christian Bale shot him. One of the best endings to a movie I have seen in a very long time, and it's one of the most shocking endings out there. I really hope I didn't spoil it. If you, I mean, I warned you. If you want to be spoiled, then yeah, just watch the movie for yourself. I haven't sold you on it. One of the best endings to a movie ever. Oh, guys, I don't have any issues with this movie. I thought this was a damn good movie. This is out of all the Christopher Nolan movies that I reviewed so far. This is my favorite so far. I absolutely adored this movie, especially the themes that explore. I love this movie. This was a damn good movie. And if you have not seen The Prestige, what are you doing with your time? This is a movie where you absolutely have to go out and buy it. What do you guys think about The Prestige? Have you seen this movie and did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. And if you love to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. But until my next video, take care.